Across my desk at an injured worker, I see one of my friends or neighbors. They didn't ask to get hurt, and they don't deserve to be treated like a rented mule by an insurance company. If you or someone you know or care about is injured on the job, help them get a fair shake.
If you've been asked to work from home, then home becomes your workplace. If you've been injured, call the McDaniel Law Firm today at 771-7211. Online at pfmcdaniellaw.com.
Hey, this is Jonathan Ross for Clark's Lawn and Landscaping. You know, now's the time to check your irrigation to make sure you're ready for the hot days. The dog days of summer are coming. Make sure it's tuned up, efficient, and ready to go with Clark's, and ask them about the app that can save you money on your water bill. Yeah, it attaches to your existing sprinkler system. A beautiful lawn says a lot about your home. Clark's Lawn and Landscaping, the pros in fertilizing your grass and killing your weeds. Don't let weeds be a pain in your grass. Call Clark's at 781-4991. Online, clarksturfpro.com.
Lake Murray's annual 4th of July fireworks celebration presented by Lexington Medical Center is Saturday, July 4th. Capital City Lake Murray Country is proud to bring you this 32-year tradition. Around 9:15, fireworks launch from Spence and Dreer Island. Tune in to 97.5 WCOS for the choreographed music show. Lake Murray's July 4th celebration presented by Lexington Medical Center. Thanks to our sponsors, including Palmetto Point, Nephron Pharmaceuticals, First Community Bank, Dominion Energy, and iHeart Media. Visit LakeMurrayCountry.com and see why South Carolina is just right for this patriotic celebration.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Fox Sports Radio 1400, WCOS Columbia, an iHeart radio station.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set! Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle once again. It is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you each and every afternoon as you make your way around the great state of South Carolina and beyond, listening to us on fantastic radio stations like Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands, Sports Radio 100.1, The Fan in Florence, and 9:20 a.m. in Manning. Earlier today, we had a chance to catch up with our good buddy, Chris Landry. We've got that interview for you here on the show that shakes the Southland to kick things off this afternoon. Hanging out with us here on a Wednesday as he has throughout the summer, Chris Landry joins us, LandryFootball.com. Chris, what's going on, buddy?
Lawton, it's all you, man. We're just we're hoping for some good football. We are, by the way, just so excited to be having you aboard with what we're doing. And I don't know if you've had a chance, but I'm going to tell folks. I hope I'm not breaking news here, but we're just so thrilled and honored and privileged to have you part of doing some ACC talk on an ACC show that we're going to be starting. I think mid July, July 19th. So just welcome aboard, and just so happy. It's just going to be a tremendous addition. But yeah, just hoping that we've got some exciting football to talk about.
Yeah, look, I'm with you 100%. Can't wait to be a part of it and get a chance to talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference. I've kind of done some shows like that in the past, and getting a chance to saddle up on it with you guys is going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to it. But Chris, I was on with Paul Feinbaum a couple of days ago and had a chance to be on a few other radio stations talking about my take over the weekend, looking at the COVID-19 numbers from coast to coast, looking at what I've seen at Clemson. I've got major concerns about the start of the college football campaign. I thought by July the tenor of these conversations would be much different. You've been in those rooms before, working during your time at LSU. I mean, what, in your opinion, being an expert in this field to a degree, what is the timeline? Like, when is there no turning back and college football's just got to be moved?
Well, I think from a coaching standpoint, you really need a good 6 weeks to get ready. But, in this era of we need to get a season in for financial reasons, they're going to have to adjust to whatever they need to adjust to. So I do think that we're kind of at that point. It's no longer March now where we can say, well, we hope maybe this stuff will be going to, we're now, can't believe it's July 1st. I just unbelievable. The calendar says it. So we're kind of at that point now where if we start to, what I'm being told is, backing it up a couple of weeks is doable. But from a coaching standpoint, it's complex. Everybody's going to have to deal with it. It's going to be tougher for new coaching staffs, new schemes, a lot of different personnel. Common sense. You don't have a spring to put all that together. You got to crunch that in. I still think, getting it in is the priority. It won't look, feel, sound the same. But I think getting there is what people want to do. And I don't have the answer, honestly. I don't know, and as I tell people, I'm not a political person, and I don't understand the science and the health part of it, meaning I understand what I'm being told like everybody else, and yet there's a lot of differing views on how you do it, how it's going to look, how you keep people healthy, how you avoid the problem, how you deal with it once they're there, and I'm more confused after hearing it because I think everybody's got their own game plan. I've said for a while, I think, not saying it's a good chance, but I think there's a better chance at the NFL with how they're organized and the 32 teams. I could see a scenario where you could quarantine teams, and obviously let players decide whether it works for them or not. But college is so much more complex on campuses. What's the different states and counties are going to allow for? How many people are on campus? Keeping college kids in an environment together and away from, the SO Club or anywhere else around the country. I mean, I don't know where I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you deal with it. What I've tried to focus on is, look, I'm getting ready for a season, breaking down the personnel of the teams, but I have no idea if it's going to be played, when it's going to be played, what the effect is. I just keep thinking about different things that maybe others don't.
Well, I think it is going to be, I think when we look back on it, Chris, it's going to be considered the most unique time in our lives in terms of, just trying to cover college sports. Maybe not even covering it, but just trying to from that standpoint.
I don't think there's any doubt about it because how do you really know? And everybody, hey, we're not going to have a season. Yeah, we're going to play. Too much money, but I don't know. I mean, yes, the answer to that is yes and yes, but I don't know. I mean, you do what you can do. It's not like, we can say, well, the last time we had a pandemic, this is what we did. 1918, none of us was around, and then it wasn't the same then. So it's like it just does. It's nothing like we can point to. It's not injuries. It's not things we can refer to. And coaches don't know. What I keep thinking about are things that maybe others don't. Like, for example, I certainly think about players. And you have 10 or 15 of them that, test positive. They got to sit. You find out on Thursday they can't play. Well, that could have a tremendous impact depending upon what the games are this week. But I think about this. Thursday, Friday, you find out your coordinator tests positive. Who's calling the game on Saturday? And the likelihood is he's tested positive. I know what it's like when you're putting together a game plan. That side of the ball is likely the second command of calling the play might be done. So I God forbid, all right, Brent Venables can't call the plays. Okay, well, he got 2 other members of his staff who are in quarantine. What do? I mean, who's doing it? How many people could be how do you deal with that? So you have situations where you have a major breakout on a staff or on a team. Is the game suspended? Is the game canceled? Is the game forfeited? We're evaluating a team that's played 7 games versus 9. How does that look? How does that feel? I don't know where we go with this. It's look, I'm not trying to say, oh boy, it's a mess, let's forget it. No. Let's play it, let's figure it out. But I just don't know how we answer some of those questions. And I had hoped, I guess, wishful thinking that things would be cleared up. I talked with somebody yesterday that a friend of mine, ironically, actually my best friend, is a professor at LSU, and his brother is an epidemiologist and one of the best. And I keep, I'm like, I keep saying second half of 2020 has got to be better because, quite frankly, the first half of 2020 sucked.
Can't be worse.
Yeah, and they said, you know what? It can be worse the second half. I'm like, gee, thanks. Bye. Because I guess we don't know. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know. I mean, I thought maybe open things up. That might be good. Well, just look what's happening in Florida and Texas. Now, I don't know. I really don't know what this is going to look like and how it's going to look. But other than that, we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. It's so much knowns versus unknowns is sort of where I put it. LandryFootball.com is the website. On Twitter, also at LandryFootball. Chris Landry here on a Wednesday. You've obviously been in those coaching circles. You've mentioned that in the past. That's where my concern also lands. I believe Frank Solich, I've brought his name up a couple of times. He's 75. We know Nick Saban would fall into that high-risk category as well, just in terms of the age factor. And there's plenty of coordinators as well that may not be as commonly known. Those are the people that, for whatever reason, when those conversations exist about, but these are just college kids, it's like you forget, that people forget that these coaches are also susceptible to this virus.
Yeah, and how about the coach that's young? How about the coach that's 38? That's really healthy, no problems.
Yeah.
But he's got a son or a daughter that's got diabetes, or a wife that's getting over cancer.
Sure, like Dave Clawson at Wake Forest. James Franklin's got a daughter with sickle cell. He's going to isolate. I mean, these things feel like, to me, as much as I love college football and want to see it, those seem like unreasonable things for these coaches to have to do.
Well, and, those are the decisions that they're going to have to make as a family, that are real life decisions that we tend to forget about. Something people may not think about, but officials. Those guys that are officiating the game, or they're susceptible. How do they deal with it? I think they'll be outfitted with some shields or something. I know in the NFL they're working with like Oakley to make shields. So I don't think you can do masks now. I mean, those guys running and I don't know. I mean, I cut the grass in a mask because to keep the grass out of my sinus system. And I'm going to tell you, in South Louisiana, cutting the grass in the heat with that mask on, and it's not that, man, I'm huffing and puffing because that's just hard to breathe. How do you do that, the officiating game, with a mask that we use when we go into the store, our doctor's office? I don't know if that works, but those are the type of things that we need to think about, and we don't think about, and we don't know. And I've thought about it a lot. I thought about Matthew Stafford, the quarterback of the Lions. And his wife is getting over cancer. I've had a bout with cancer and a heart issue. I've been told it's probably not a good idea. Who cares about me? Because I'm basically in home and doing my work out of my home. But these are people, coaches, that they may be perfectly healthy, and the players they're coaching may be perfectly healthy. But the people that they have to go home with are big issues. And so, how do you quarantine them do you put them in the bubble? I mean, that's what Dr. Fauci and all these other guys are saying. Need to put them in the bubble,
which is what the NBA is trying to do that.
Yes, and you can see that, for a certain part of the season, can you do it? How do you do that in college?
Wow.
Do you do that in the NFL for the entire year? I mean, you can do it, but, they're going to have to make decisions. Well, in college, I think a lot of guys are going to want to play. But, and here's the other thing, there's going to have to be a lot of peer pressure. Guys, we get it. You're young. We'd love to go clubbing and all that. Just can't do that this year. And as a team, they're going to have to get, everybody on board to say, guys, we can't go out. But all it takes is the one guy that's the third team, tackle that doesn't play that says, I need to blow off steam. And they go off, and all of a sudden you got the whole offensive line room. You're done. You can NFLPA players, you can control it, maybe put them, but can you isolate guys in a dorm room, a housing facility, a hotel room? Or a hotel? Can you do that? A lot tougher to get your arms around it at a college environment, because that's a whole. College campuses are like small cities. That's what it is. And different campuses are bigger than others, of course, but good luck. And then, now trying to keep them safe from, they may do all the right things, but if somebody penetrates that bubble in the classroom and, in some other lab environment where, you just, in the class, you got issues. So it's going to be a challenge, and I don't know how it's going to be done. I know that I haven't even gotten into the whole fan argument, because I think that's a whole different environment, and yet one that's important. We know that if we see football and if we play all the games a lot, it's not going to be typical Death Valley. It's not going to be typical, it's just not, but we can at least play games. And I think at this point, people are hoping that at least we can play games, but I don't know how that's going to look. I really don't. I just don't. I wish I had the answer, and I just don't. And I don't know that we're, it's like every day we get closer,
right,
we're going to start to have some answers. So we're running out of time to where we can kick the can down the road. The decisions are coming. I just don't know. I don't know what they are, and I don't know. Every contingency has been put into place. So it's either plan A, B, C, D, E, all the way through Z. And it's just they're going to go into the cabinet and pick out one of them that's going to fit based upon what the medical people and the logistics are going to allow it to happen. And I don't know which one of those things are going to be in play. I can tell you this. Don't count me in as one that thinks it's okay to play it in the spring. I do not like the idea. In fact, I would, as tough as it is, and I understand at least getting it in is better than nothing, but count me in as someone that says if we can't do it and we get through, basically end of January, maybe getting in it to early February, if we can't complete our college football season by then in some way, shape, or form, let's try again next year, guys, because I just don't think spring – it's great for the Ivy League. It's maybe not even a bad idea for the Ivy League. They got a different environment, but who's going to want to play in the spring? Your pro prospects, that's part of it too. But also, how are you going to finish up? Are you going to finish up in April or early May? What are you going to do? Say, congratulations, here's your trophy. Spring practice starts tomorrow? That doesn't, how do you deal? I think it begins to affect next season. So I'm not into that, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I think the college prospects is a big conversation if it rolls back, and that was brought up after I brought up the point of potentially not playing a game during the 2020 season. I don't think I'm necessarily ahead of the curve on everything, Chris, but I feel like I got a little bit out in front of this by just a couple of days because I'm hearing more and more people now questioning it. When did it sort of switch for you? Do you remember exactly? We just got a couple of minutes left.
I don't know that it's switched. It's been a swirling of confusion for me. I don't think I have a handle on anything other than what is happening now, and I think the recent outbreaks in states and the reactions to the opening things up has created, what do we do now? So I'm kind of like everybody figuring out how are we going to deal with it? Because I've always said testing positive is just going to be normal. How do we deal with it? And I don't know. I just don't know. The herd immunity thing has been brought up. I don't know how applicable that is because some epidemiologists say, hey, wait a minute. We don't have enough of a study to know that it can't be retransmitted or you can't have long-range effects. How can you have a long-range study with it that hadn't been done long-range? So I don't know. I just, I'm concerned. I'm hopeful. Like I said, my nose is to the grindstone preparing for a season, but I fully am aware that, I may be ready and football may not be.
Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com, on Twitter as well, at LandryFootball. Chris, man, looking forward to kicking off the ACC show here soon, and can't wait to get back up with you next Wednesday.
Hey, man, thanks a bunch. Appreciate you. Talk to you next time, buddy.
Chris Landry here on the show that shakes the Southland. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, there he is, Chris Landry, hanging out with us just a little bit ago here on the show that shakes the Southland. And so many things to get into, and that's why this show's about the factors to a college football season in which I'm not overly sold on. You hear it there from a guy who's not only been in the grind, but was on staffs at LSU, was a part of the Cleveland Browns when they had Belichick and Nick Saban. It's just, I think that point he made at the end about we don't know the long-term consequences because this is something we've only dealt with for a little, short period of time. And really today, July the 1st, the second half of the year, finally, I don't know that we've ever felt that way about, maybe I should do it with the old beginning of the show. Finally. We're in the second half of the year. Dabo Swinney would tell you, and I saw some memes out there about this, there's nothing less important than the score at halftime. Let's hope for a better second half. That's all I can tell you at this point. That windshield mentality. But we got to make sure we're doing the right things because you got to have a huge July. July has to be a monster month for you to be back on the gridiron. I'll tell you about a school that's making some changes in the SEC in terms of the college football season right after this.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Highway Patrol working on a wreck in Lexington County at Pond Branch Road in Platte Springs. I'm Tumbleweed with Columbia's most dependable traffic from the 103.5 FM WVOC Traffic Center. The traffic tip line number 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up.
Hi, I'm Nick Jonas, and I'm here to tell you about Think It Up, a new initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join us at thinkitup.org.
Hey fam, Jada Pinkett Smith here, bringing your favorite Red Table Talk episodes to podcast. I want to introduce you to two of the most important women in my life. My mom, Gammy, she's really old school.
I never wanted you to be in that situation. Not date Will at all.
And then we have my daughter, Willow.
I'm going to be like my ancestors and just do what I need to do.
Listen to the Red Table Talk podcast presented by Facebook Watch and Westbrook Audio on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. So, who's going to do what? Flashlights?
Nowhere to be found.
Where to be found? Batteries?
Dead.
Great. Emergency supply kits?
Not packed.
No. What about blankets?
We have an old towel.
Good enough. Cell phones?
May not work.
Emergency water?
Not a drop.
And what about food?
Nope.
Perfect. We all know where we're meeting if we're separated, yeah?
The library. Aunt Joan's house. The bus stop.
Great. And I'll be waiting here wondering where you all are. Sounds like we don't have a plan. Who's up for mini golf?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show now at 978-1832 or text 803-450-0086.
One of the things I never got good at was playing the drums. Plenty of rhythm. Never could play the drums. Never really played an instrument. I'll be honest with you. Unless you count the turntables. The ones and the twos. 803-450-0086. That is your text line, 803-450-0086. So the factors towards or for a college football season. Got an update from iHeart Radio just a few minutes ago, of which you can hear this show on Fox Sports Radio 1400 from 4 until 6 o'clock, then from 6 until 8 o'clock, also on the iHeart Radio app. You can listen to us on Sports Radio 100.1 The Fan. So if you missed some of it, if you missed Chris Landry, you can go catch it. We podcast it. It's on our website, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We got it everywhere, believe me. But I did get an update from iHeart that Pfizer, and I'll get to the story about the SEC in a minute. Pfizer announced that they have seen success in early stages of human trials for a coronavirus vaccine, which included 45 people who were randomly given certain doses of the vaccine and a placebo. The best thing I saw, though, in this notes was after 28 days, the patients who received the smaller doses, and they did get booster shots that were given in smaller doses during the 3 weeks of treatment, had more antibodies to COVID-19 than patients who had previously recovered from the viral infection. Now, problem still, you got to test these trials further. Based on the results, they are going to begin a larger test on 30,000 people this month. If this vaccine proves effective, they could manufacture 100 million doses by the end of 2020 and another 1.2 billion doses by the end of 2021. So positives there from the standpoint of potentially creating a vaccine. I am no doctor on this front. That apparently plenty of my friends on Facebook are. Why does it say you work for the South Carolina Department of Transportation in the graphics department if you're a doctor? But from that standpoint, some people have told me that you can't really create a vaccine for a coronavirus, but I mean, it looks like Pfizer's at least creating something to give you antibodies. I'm assuming that's what you call a vaccine. I don't know enough about it. This sounds promising to me on that front. What is another thing, though, in terms of the factors of the college football season that doesn't seem promising, came to us from Jonathan. He dropped this bomb. Well, not a bomb, but he dropped this knowledge on me over on Twitter where he's watching the show. Mississippi State has already announced some 2 hours ago that they will cancel tailgating for the college football season. So we're talking about Clemson Tiger fans who I know very well, and I have heard there's going to be, now not necessarily about Clemson at this point, and don't be surprised if something does come down, but people have talked about, I'll be there, I'll tailgate, I'll still do my thing. The responsibility side of that from the university standpoint is probably going to fall in line with what you see at Mississippi State. While attendance, this is what the article says, while attendance will likely be limited and tailgating is still up in the air at many, many venues, Wednesday, Mississippi State's Alumni Association announced it was canceling alumni tailgating events for the 2020 season. Here's the announcement. It says, after careful consideration regarding the growing concerns around COVID-19, we've made the difficult decision to cancel football tailgates this fall. This is not a decision we have taken lightly, as this is an incredibly important and exciting event that brings MSU alumni and friends together from near and far. However, our primary concern is always a responsibility we feel towards the health and safety of our Bulldog family. We will continue to explore other ways to engage our loyal alumni community and look forward to resuming our annual in-person event programming once it is safe to do so. Until then, stay safe and hail state. Now, one question I had reading through that was, is that a ban completely for the university, or just that their alumni group was not going to be putting in some sort, putting together the traditional tailgate that you might see? Nonetheless, this is not, I believe, something that's going to be ununique, if that is even a word, in 2020. I think this is going to be the norm more often than not in college football for 2020. And if you believe, like I do, that the only place that these universities can make up their money is in ad revenue for these games this year, it's not going to be in attendance, then what you have to do is, and I don't know how these contracts can be negotiated or fixed or what, but you want people at home. You don't want 100,000 people at a tailgate where 11 people are watching the game on one television. You want those 11 people in their 11 homes collectively watching the television. You want the numbers in the viewership to be huge so that the ad dollars are better. But right now, Mississippi State's maneuver on July the 1st, for some of you, will seem crazy. But we don't have an infinite amount of time. And you can't run these things up to the brink. That's the other factor in the conversations that I've had with you all week, as much as it pains me. You can't make the decision on whether you're playing college football on September the 1st. Just can't do it. These decisions have to be made in advance. Plans have to change. And that's what we've now bumped up against. If we had opened back up and the numbers had stayed low and we hadn't seen cases on the rise nationally, the conversation today is about college football coming, because look at us, we're open and things are great. Instead, things are open, and while death rates are not a huge factor in terms of how great they are by comparison to the infections, the growing concern on the death rates begin to incline or increase as more and more people are potentially hospitalized and beds fill up, etc. Stay with us. Stay with us.
iHeartRadio, straight from the studio with Jimmy Buffett.
There's a song titled, Funny How Time Slips Away. That's exactly what I feel like. It's a job that I really love doing to get to this point and to do this album. It's been a wonderful ride.
Listen to Jimmy Buffett's new album, Life on the Flip Side, now on iHeartRadio All Access.
At Stanley Martin Homes, your life is our blueprint. For over 53 years, Stanley Martin has been building homes to fit your lifestyle. Visit any of our local models for a self-guided tour or schedule a personal appointment with one of our neighborhood sales managers. Summertime is the best time for moving into your new Stanley Martin home. And now you can design your house with the click of a mouse online at StanleyMartin.com. An equal housing opportunity.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Another muggy afternoon, temperatures topping off in the 90s, a mix of sun and clouds, and of course, the late day shower. For ABC Columbia, Channel 25, I am Tyler Ryan.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Want to hit a home run with your smart speaker? Alexa, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeartRadio.
That sounds like a pretty good choice to me.
It is the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk on a Wednesday afternoon. Gotta tell you, yeah, that little jingle we came in to right there, I some of you go, that was my jam, Swatty. I don't remember the name of that song, to be honest. But it's amazing because there are songs out there And music, I really believe music more than anything takes you back to like a place and a time and where you were. And a song can come on. Like if I hear that song Man-Eater, ooh, here she comes, watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. If I hear that, I feel like I'm at the JC Pool, which I have in Barnwell, South Carolina, many moons ago. And so long ago that place closed down that I really don't have memories of it outside of kind of the music that was being played. I know I learned to swim there, but just music takes you to a certain place and a certain time in your life. Like if the song Push It by Salt and Pepper were to come on, it would take me back. I got a poster over here, or a painting from the Barnwell Warhorse back-to-back state championship teams in 1987 and 1988, that takes me back to those times and remembering that song was popular back then. More than anything, I feel like music puts you in a place and time. And it's one of the reasons I think I really appreciate music. And I think it's also another reason that radio is still so popular for so many people, whether that be the casual listener or the active listener on a show like this. 803-450-0086. You could text the program. Again, we've been talking today about, the factors in getting back out on the gridiron, what it's going to take to get back out there. Mississippi State's Alumni Association shutting down tailgating on campus. Does that mean the entire campus is shut down for tailgating this year? Is that something that's coming your way in college football season? I get the feeling it is going to happen. And some of those things will be shut down just because the states will say, hey, you can't have that many people gathering, the responsibility, etc. I don't like it. I can tell you from that standpoint, it's no fun to think about not being able to go up to Clemson, because that's the thing for me and for a lot of you. We don't do like a vacation really. In terms of, my wife and I aren't going on a cruise. Not that anybody's going on cruises right now, but we don't travel to Europe. Like where our extra money is spent is going to Clemson and to tailgate and to have a good time and see family and friends. I'm also working, obviously, in my capacity, but my kids go, they have a good time. And so that's going to be something missing from a lot of people this year. 803-450-0086. That is the text line if you want to be a part of the program. HR says, I can remember all 3 songs and people that I ever slow danced with over my 20 years on the prowl. There are certain songs that take you back. Like when I was growing up, remember you'd have a dance? Your friends would have a dance? I mean, I'm from a small town. And we didn't have the mall to go to and hang out with our friends. So you would have like a dance at somebody's house. And I can remember everybody at the house having to call their parents like an hour before it was supposed to end. And the best thing was when whoever's family was throwing the party would allow the party to extend. You call your parents, listen, I know we said it was ending at 10:30, but they said you could come at 11:30 instead. And you're like, yes, the party goes on. The party goes on. Kusa Life chiming into the program says, I think you're right. The Birmingham Barons baseball made the announcement this morning. Season canceled. So that comes to us from Kusa Light. Yeah, it's not fun. I don't think anybody likes the things that we're having to talk about here on the program. And there's been so much more that's come out just since, we wrote our article this weekend. There's been so much more momentum. This snowball rolling towards not having a college football season is incredibly frustrating, but a reality that we might be witnessing. VolsWire.com, Dan Harrelson, writing an article that said the NCAA Coronavirus Advisory Panel football season in February, quote, might be one modification. Again, this brushes us back into the timing of what it could look like and what would potentially happen for star players when the NFL draft would be coming up just around the end of the conclusion of the season. Minnesota State offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Joe Beschner discussed the topic of college football punting the season in February on the Tennessee Two-A-Day show. He said, quote, "I have heard people kicking around the season in February or in the winter. It's all fine and good, but you haven't played outdoors in Minnesota in February." That's a good point. And that's the other thing, and Chris Landry brought this up when we interviewed him earlier. And we'll reset some of Chris's interview for you in hour number 2. Not all of it, but some of it for you in hour number 2. But Chris pointed out, he said, for the Ivy League, moving the season to the winter/spring and rolling it around the calendar might actually give them, some more ideal weather conditions, etc. And they're not a player in the college football playoff nonetheless. They're not a power broker in terms of the financial side of things. They still make money with their football. Just, they can survive playing it whenever. Jonathan wants to know when I think the big decisions are made. Jonathan, I get the sneaky feeling that part of the reason that when you reach out to a lot of these administrators to come on these shows right now, they're booked up on Zoom meetings, is because I think these conversations are being had every day. And I think they have to have an end date, that 0 hour when they have to make the call. How close can you push it? You heard Chris Landry say earlier, these coaches need a minimum of 6 weeks to get ready for the college football season. Well, I'll let you pull out your handy-dandy calculator or your calendar and take a peek and see how quickly 6 weeks from the college football season is. And put it this way, and I don't use the word ain't often, but I'm going to say it today. There ain't many more shows of the Show That Shakes the Southland between now and that deadline. Could that be the point? 6 weeks out? 4 weeks out? You got to believe it comes sooner than 4 weeks out. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Kelly Nash. You and I have been radio friends for a number of years, and now it's going to pay off for you with a free gift. We've got a special going on with Zero Res. They will do 3 rooms of carpet, cleaned better than you've ever had a carpet cleaned in your life. Just $119. Now that free gift I mentioned. Just say my name when you're booking and get the hallway done for free. Call 803-262-4020 or ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Ask about their air duct cleaning special as well.
Celebrate freedom at Casey'sFireworks.com. Go online to see pre-packed shows or, all new this year, choose a color-only, noiseless show for pets and special needs. Get 80% off artillery while they last or half-price pre-packs with extra free fireworks inside. See store for details. Casey's Fireworks celebrating 70 years of wow. Only on Rosewood Drive. Open all year for coupons and money-saving shows. Go to Casey'sFireworks.com.
Hey golfers, have you been to the golf capital of the world yet? Myrtle Beach Golf offers a variety of custom packages featuring nearly 80 courses. Golfers have the option to create the exact experience they're looking for. Plus, Myrtle Beach Golf provides top-notch accommodations with over 15 resorts, all guaranteed to be a hole-in-one. Come join us for a short drive away in Myrtle Beach for your best golf trip by par. Book now at myrtlebeachgolf.com.
It's Wednesday, July 1st. What's new today on the free iHeartRadio app? iHeartRadio. Summer's here. Check out our Songs of Summer playlists with the biggest summer hits of 2020 and of all time. Open the app and tap the playlist tab. Real Fun Beach Radio is commercial-free all summer and gives you that toes in the sand beach music vibe 24/7. And discover the new hit podcast, Missing in Alaska. Totally binge-worthy. It's all new and waiting for you today.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and Ad
A message from Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous.
I came to Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous overweight and depressed. I was dieting, binging, stealing food, and lying about it for years.
For help, call 781-932-6300 or visit foodaddicts.org.
I knew I had a weight problem. I didn't know I was addicted to food.
The FA program gave me a healthy body. I'm free from obsessing about my weight or food.
Call FA 781-932-6300 or visit us on our website at foodaddicts.org.
Sensory sensitivity, repetitious behavior, lack of eye contact. You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeart Radio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart Radio station.
Clemson Sports Talk on a Wednesday. I've got my eyeballs to the right watching Governor Henry McMaster talking about COVID-19 and everything going on in our state. And I saw him mentioning, the things that he mentioned: high school football, college football. These are the things that are clearly in trouble right now in his mind's eye if we don't get things right. And so we can focus on our state, right? First and foremost, I saw 1,497 new cases. That's down from yesterday's 1,700 new cases. But the problem, and this is what I said yesterday, even if you eradicated COVID-19 in South Carolina, right? If your state, this state, our state, the Palmetto State, could get rid of it tomorrow, college football is a collective thing across the country. It's so the problem is here, but it's also everywhere else. Maybe one thing if coronavirus was hitting Hawaii only. And you could play college football without Hawaii for a season. That wouldn't be such a big factor. You could focus on fixing the issues in Hawaii. We're talking about coast to coast here. And that's the bigger problem. Zeke, listening to the program in Gainesville, Florida, says that there are already a groundswell of people that are leaving town to get ahead of there not being any football because how the college football economies are going to be, the college football cities, the small cities and the communities are going to be obliterated by not having that influx of business this fall. And here's what I will say from that standpoint to those businesses and those business owners, many of which who have supported this show in and of itself. I mean, I hope that there is still an avenue that people will be able to purchase and spend and be a part of those communities without being directly in those communities because you love those communities. So I would encourage, our listenership, etc. If you're a Clemson Tiger fan, just because you can't go up to the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson, but you still want to support them, you could still get your merchandise, etc. online. So, you don't have to change where you shop or who you support in 2020 because of COVID-19. That's something you have to remember. Now, look, you might not be able to go into the local bar there and grab a drink or 20 before the weekend kicks off with your buddies. But you do still have the ability to support those businesses. So don't let that falter away. We could still support small business even in this scenario. Sadly, there will be some restaurants, et cetera, that will be shut down because of the things that are going on. And that's exceedingly more difficult. And to Zeke's point, that may be where we are headed. Kusa Life also wants to know, is it possible that some colleges go bankrupt due to a possibility of the canceled season? I don't know enough about what the budgets would look like in all of these schools. I think that, you know, some of the larger universities probably have a pretty good grasp on where they are financially. What I would try to do, and see, I'm not a banking guy. Like, I'm not like you know what I'm saying? Like, my brain is not heavily invested in that type of thought process. And so if you are that person, you hit me up and let me know. If you're like a mortgage guy and you understand how this would collapse things, or a loan officer and you understand how this would collapse things, hit me up on Twitter, 803-450-0086. What I don't understand is if we believed that this coronavirus deal would be cleared up by next year, why couldn't, or how couldn't the school still pay some portion of the loans they owe for whatever they owe, but then back end another year payment? And even if that other year payment is additional, in addition to what they can pay now, so in 30 years or whatever. And I thought about this from the get-go when we started talking about how we were going to, you know, help out Americans get through this time. You know, and if you have a mortgage, my brain was going, well, I have a mortgage. If they told me, hey, Swanee, you don't have to pay your mortgage for 3 months. Okay, I could do that math. You put it on the back end of my life, you know, the back end of my mortgage. How would that affect the banking system? I don't know. But, you know, when you start to try to think about these things, it's such a huge conceptual, you know, it's astronomical what all you're dealing with, at least in my brain. And maybe this is where I'm like, well, okay, I'm not, I'm just an old dumb sports talk show host. But I try to think through those things, and I can't. I don't know what happens to the bank. Would there be money there? Would that crash the system? I don't know. You know, I need an economist to come on and give me the scoop on that. But I would like to believe that most businesses in college communities where they have that influx of people make such a run on money every year that they've got enough in the coffers. I'd like to believe that the university, because they've got so much coming in, that they've got money in the coffers. I'd like to believe that the majority of these universities will survive this. I think coaches and their salaries may not. And I could argue, and I would say more often than not, that's probably a positive thing if coaches' salaries dropped, given how astronomical they have gotten. I mean, that, you know, coaches don't want to hear that. But when you got public, you know, people who serve the public out there barely getting by, whether that's teachers or police officers or firemen, and you got coaches making millions and millions of dollars, I mean, maybe that's not all that bad if that has to be reevaluated a little bit. Hour number 2, we'll hear a little bit more from Chris Landry on the show that shakes the Southland right around the bend, and I'll try to give you another update if I see some news from Governor Henry McMaster, as he's still on the television right after this.
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports, Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Stall on the interstate, 20 eastbound at the 44-mile marker. Couple of wrecks for you right now. SC6 at Railroad Avenue. 2 notch at Sparkleberry Lane. I'm Tumbleweed in the 103.5 FM WVOC Traffic Center with Columbia's most dependable traffic.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. 20 years ago, when my mom had lung cancer, she didn't have many choices. But today, you do. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, please visit standuptocancer.org/lungcancer to learn more.
Fake Doctors, Real Friends is the podcast that recaps the television sitcom Scrubs from the perspective of the series stars Zach Braff and Donald Faison.
I'm sure this is so annoying, but I just want to say I love the show. And I'm always like, it's not annoying. Are you kidding me? That's like the best compliment you can give us. So,
well, it's annoying when you're eating food. Join Zach and Donald twice a week as they interview former cast members, directors, and even creator Bill Lawrence. Listen to Fake Doctors, Real Friends on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
When a community grows, its hospital should grow too. And that's just what we're doing at Lexington Medical Center. We recently launched the largest hospital expansion project in South Carolina history. Our new 10-story patient tower will help us take better care of patients, including the tiniest infants who need special attention. It will also make room for the growing number of patients who need surgery and intensive care. At Lexington Medical Center, our mission to serve our community never wavers. We're here when you need us today, and we'll be there when you need us tomorrow.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Beyond all the hospitals and doctors and surgeries they need just to survive, they also deserve whatever they need to truly live. All the in-home care and day-to-day help they need to live independently, on their own terms. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs were established to provide these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence, at no cost, for life. So many of them need us, and it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Ever think of light bulbs as being cool? They are if you choose energy-efficient bulbs and fixtures that have earned the government's Energy Star label. They're so hot, they're cool. Because they burn cool and last up to 10 times longer, you save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution is as close as your nearest lamp socket. Brighten your environmental future. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400, WCOS Columbia, an iHeart radio station.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set!
Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's Drive Time right here on the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan hanging out with you on a Wednesday. Trash day. Had to take a peek outside. I love the home studio. I hope you like it too. And thank you to everybody who's participated with us today. So much left to get into. Madden 2021. In terms of that video game, has announced the franchise mode teams. It'll be a part of that. We'll get into that. You've got Clemson still potentially being challenged this year in the ACC. Who are those teams that could push them? And more conversations about how the coronavirus could affect college football heading into this year. I'm just thankful, honestly, that I had a month essentially of this show in June where we didn't really hardly talk about coronavirus because, one, we still had a big window. We didn't really have to. And we had made the assessment that we would be playing college football, so we rolled with it. But then by the time you got to the end of June and you see what's happening, it's like, uh-oh. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me say this, because there are some people that are still going, "Oh, Swanee, stop! You're just falling into the naysaying crowd." Let's assume I'm the most optimistic guy you know. Just assume that I'm the most optimistic guy you know. I see what's happening everywhere else, and I go, whether or not I'm as optimistic as I want to be on this, they are shutting stuff down. Things are being shut down. Why would college football, why would that be, I don't know if the terminology that would be correct here would be interdependent of everything else. And especially the fact that these aren't professional athletes. Chris Landry joined us in hour number 1. And he brought that fact up. And it's part of the reason I've been saying, you might see the NBA. Boy, I'll tell you the cost on that in a minute with their bubble they're trying to live in. You might see the major leagues. Major League Baseball maybe has the best chance of anything because of the least amount of contact that they have in that sport. And the close proximity that you can almost play baseball socially distanced. I mean, there's certainly the pitcher who licks his fingers, and that's on the ball, and that ball goes out to the outfield, and the outfielder scoops it up, and then if that outfielder licks his, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got some transmission in that respect. But baseball is a sport where close contact, you can almost social distance that thing. I mean, honestly, dude, if a man gets on first base and you're the first baseman, you can pull your mask out if you need to. Just wear a mask while you're over here by me, buddy. Okay. So from that standpoint, professional athletes, they're being paid a significant amount. I'm not saying that there should be money that enough money that would make your life less important, because that's not the case either. But when they roll out there, they know the checks are coming in. These college athletes don't know what their future holds from that standpoint. But we had Chris Landry on the show earlier, and I'll play a little bit of that interview for you here in hour number 2, because Chris is a guy that was the recruiting coordinator at LSU, worked with the Browns, with Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, and knows these guys and is around these guys and has a different view of things. That's why I love having him on Wednesdays. Here's our interview with Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. Here's a portion of it for you in hour number 2. And hanging out with us here on a Wednesday, as he has throughout the summer, Chris Landry joins us, LandryFootball.com. Chris, what's going on, buddy?
Lawton, it's all you, man. We're just we're hoping for some good football. We are, by the way, just so excited to be having you aboard with what we're doing. And I don't know if you've had a chance, but I'm going to tell folks. I hope I'm not breaking news here, but we're just so thrilled and honored, and privileged to have you part of doing some ACC talk on an ACC show that we're going to be starting. I think mid-July, July 19th. So just welcome aboard, and just so happy. It's just going to be a tremendous addition. But yeah, just hoping that we've got some exciting football to talk about.
Yeah, look, I'm with you 100%. Can't wait to be a part of it and get a chance to talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference. I've kind of done some shows like that in the past, and getting a chance to saddle up on it with you guys is going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to it. But Chris, I was on with Paul Feinbaum a couple of days ago and had a chance to be on a few other radio stations talking about my take over the weekend, looking at the COVID-19 numbers from coast to coast, looking at what I've seen at Clemson. I've got major concerns about the start of the college football campaign. I thought by July, the tenor of these conversations would be much different. You've been in those rooms before, working during your time at LSU. I mean, what, in your opinion, being an expert in this field to a degree, what is the timeline? Like, when is there no turning back and college football's just got to be moved?
Well, I think from a coaching standpoint, you really need a good 6 weeks to get ready. But, in this era of we need to get a season in for financial reasons, they're going to have to adjust to whatever they need to adjust to. So I do think that we're kind of at that point. It's no longer March now where we can say, well, we hope maybe this stuff will be going to, we're now, can't believe it's July 1st. I just unbelievable. The calendar says it. So we're kind of at that point now where if we start to, what I'm being told is, backing it up a couple of weeks is doable. But from a coaching standpoint, it's complex. Everybody's going to have to deal with it. It's going to be tougher for new coaching staffs, new schemes, a lot of different personnel. Common sense. You don't have a spring to put all that together. You got to crunch that in. I still think, getting it in is the priority. It won't look, feel, sound the same. But I think getting there is what people want to do. And I don't have the answer, honestly. I don't know. And as I tell people, I'm not a political person, and I don't understand the science and the health part of it. Meaning, I understand what I'm being told like everybody else. And yet there's a lot of differing views on how you do it, how it's going to look, how you keep people healthy, how you avoid the problem, how you deal with it once they're there. And I'm more confused after hearing it because I think everybody's got their own game plan. I've said for a while, I think, not saying it's a good chance, but I think there's a better chance at the NFL with how they're organized and the 32 teams. I could see a scenario where you could quarantine teams, and obviously let players decide whether it works for them or not. But college is so much more complex. On campuses, what's the different states and counties are going to allow for? How many people are on campus? Keeping college kids in an environment together and away from, the SO club or anywhere else around the country. I mean, I don't know where I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you deal with it. What I've tried to focus on is, look, I'm getting ready for a season, breaking down the personnel of the teams, but I have no idea if it's going to be played, when it's going to be played, what the effect is. I just keep thinking about different things that maybe others don't.
Well, I think it is going to be, I think when we look back on it, Chris, it's going to be considered the most unique time in our lives in terms of, just trying to cover college sports. Maybe not even covering it, but just trying to from that standpoint.
I don't think there's any doubt about it because how do you really know? And everybody, hey, we're not going to have a season. Yeah, we're going to play. Too much money involved. I don't know. I mean, yes, the answer to that is yes and yes, but I don't know. I mean, you do what you can do. It's not like, we can say, well, the last time we had a pandemic, this is what we did. 1918, none of us was around, and then it wasn't the same then. So it's like it just does. It's nothing like we can point to. It's not injuries. It's not things we can refer to, and coaches don't know. What I keep thinking about are things that maybe others don't. Like, for example, I certainly think about players, and you have 10 or 15 of them that test positive. They got to sit. You find out on Thursday they can't play. Well, that could have a tremendous impact depending upon what the games are this week. But I think about this. Thursday, Friday, you find out your coordinator tests positive. Who's calling the game on Saturday? And the likelihood if he's tested positive, I know what it's like when you're putting together a game plan. That side of the ball is likely the second command of calling the play might be done. So I God forbid, all right, Brent Venables can't call the plays. Okay, well, he got two other members of his staff who are in quarantine. What do you do? I mean, who's doing it? How many people could be how do you deal with that? So you have situations where you have a major breakout on a staff or on a team. Is the game suspended? Is the game canceled? Is the game forfeited? We're evaluating a team that's played 7 games versus 9. How does that look? How does that feel? I don't know where we go with this. It's look, I'm not trying to say, oh boy, it's a mess, let's forget it. No. Let's play it, let's figure it out. But I just don't know how we answer some of those questions. And I had hoped, I guess, wishful thinking that things would be cleared up. I talked with somebody yesterday that a friend of mine, ironically, actually my best friend, is a professor at LSU, and his brother is an epidemiologist and one of the best. And I keep, I'm like, I keep saying, second half of 2020 has got to be better because, quite frankly, the first half of 2020 sucked.
Can't
for a
be
lot
worse.
Of reasons. Yeah, and they said, you know what? It can be worse the second half. I'm like, gee, thanks, bye. Because I guess we don't know. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know. I mean, I thought maybe open things up. That might be good. Well, just look what's happening in Florida and Texas now. I don't know. I really don't know what this is going to look like and how it's going to look. But other than that, we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. It's so much knowns versus unknowns. I'll cut it off right there. Chris Landry with us earlier today in the show. The full portion of that interview will be in the podcast as well, or you can catch it over on Facebook. You can catch the rebroadcast on Twitter or on YouTube. Yeah, so one thing we talked about earlier, people were asking me about the timeline and what that might look like. And I saw some great points that were being made on this front. You could text us as well, 803-450-0086. Never text while you're driving. But, part of the thought process behind it, this came to us from John in Archdale, North Carolina. He said, Swanee, I think they're going to keep working to play, keep working out, make up practice, fall camp, and be ready to pull the plug on the season as late as the morning before a game. He said that there will be, that will be the case until the season is over or called off, kind of like the ACC basketball tournament, play until we say stop. From the standpoint of the student athlete, the coaches, that theoretically might work. Where I don't think it works is for the individuals that would have to work the game. Now, obviously, concessions and concession stands would not be an issue if you didn't have a ton of fans. Even maybe the amount of security you have to have might not be a big deal if you don't have a ton of fans. But there's a lot more that goes into a football game than just the football players. And I can't imagine that the networks would want to run out television, the trucks to these places in advance of a game being canceled the next day. Like there's got to be some assurity across the board that, hey, we're playing. Because if you don't have that, at that point, it's just a nightmare for everybody that's involved in this thing. And then I think too, going back to Chris's point about coaches, if we're talking about 10-day isolation periods, 14-day isolation periods, I mean, theoretically, you could have a coach that gets, has COVID-19 diagnosed on a Saturday of a game. Rolling into the game, Brent Venables turns up positive. So now, based on a 14-day quarantine, he can't coach that game, the following game, or potentially even the next game. And especially on that Saturday, there probably have to be contingency plans anyway. I mean, there's no rule out there. I mean, we saw Jerry Kill, the former Minnesota head coach, literally have seizures on the sidelines and be taken off So there must be plans in place. Like, you must have a backup plan because you never know. Brent Venables could be standing on the sidelines and a player could come, flying out of nowhere and wipe him out. He could be concussed and have to go back to the locker room to not return. So there must be a backup plan in place already that you and I probably aren't privy to at this point. But to try to line these things up that close to the start date, it gets increasingly more difficult. And whether that's a 2-week window that they have to have or a 5-day window, I can't tell you. But to try to make it all fit and work at this point is another whole side of this nightmare that we're dealing with. In addition to the virus, there are the things that we have to do from the production standpoint of these games that sitting on our couch and watching it seems like, oh yeah, that's great. I'm glad they can keep us updated on this stuff. To the reality of the numbers of people involved in that, in the travel that goes along in that, and putting people up in hotels. And there's some conversations out there I already saw today, and I may have to dig these up, but the NFL thinking about travel plans for the 2020 season and what that could look like, because they don't have that bubble that, and they can't go to one venue the way that the NBA is trying to do this shortened season. But from the standpoint of travel, the NFL is thinking about the teams will fly in the day of the game, play the game, and fly home. They don't want these guys staying in hotels. They want them getting off the plane, on the field, on the plane, and home. No hotels. I mean, and look, they're professional athletes. That might be the modern day, or at least the 2020 grind to give you professional football. But I brought up the NBA just a few minutes ago and what they're dealing with in terms of trying to finish up their season. From some players choosing not to play to some names coming back into the league like J.R. Smith. Hello, J.R. Joining the Los Angeles Lakers. The former LeBron James sidekick is back kicking sides with LeBron James. But thinking about what this is going to cost the NBA to pull off their operations at the Walt Disney World Resort, I guess, it's a big number. But fans want sports more than anything. When we get back here on the show that shakes the Southland, I'll give you an update on what it's going to cost for the National Basketball Association to play ball.
Sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Collision 26 westbound at the 115-mile marker. All lanes are blocked. 26 eastbound at the 115-mile marker. The two left-hand lanes are blocked. Major collision 26 east and west at the 115-mile marker. Also a wreck at Augusta Road and Leslie Drive. I'm Tumbleweed in the 103.5 FM WVOC Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day needs. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan. With quality brands such as Nike, Antigua, Cutter & Buck, and Champion, plus many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson gear a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at Dr. I.M. Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
In this world, time equals money. Who has time to spend driving around looking for cheap gas? Enter Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy is a mobile app that helps you save on gas. Gas Buddy users save up to 25 cents per gallon no matter where they fill up in the U.S. Download the Gas Buddy app from the App Store, Google Play, or GasBuddy.com. Gas Buddy has already been downloaded more than 90 million times by budget-minded drivers. Join the revolution today. Gas Buddy. Fuel better.
Hey, America. We need to have a little talk. I don't know if you've noticed, but we got a lot of food in this country. A lot of peaches, a lot of corn, a lot of apples, a lot of everything. We've got so much food that we can't even eat it all. So if we got all this extra food, how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? I just don't get it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to the hungry kids who need it. They can get you food even if you live in Idaho or Alaska or somewhere crazy like that. This isn't complicated. We got extra food and we've got hungry kids. Feeding America's done the math. Now it's your turn. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. I know you got internet on your phone, so what are you waiting for? We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Major key alert! Don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
Clemson Sports Talk on a Wednesday, the show that shakes the Southland. Your website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. I hate typing. ClemsonRadio.com will get you there as well. Thank you for hanging out on Twitter at Clemson Sports. All right, so the NBA is pulling off quite a feat, notwithstanding the elimination of some teams who weren't in playoff contention, some players who have decided that they're still not going to play. But according to sources, the bubble that the NBA is going to be playing in at the Walt Disney World Resort for their 3-month competition, the operating expenses will be about $150 million. So this is a 3-month venture, roughly $50 million a month to pull this off. The league is going to be housing 22 teams plus support staff at 3 different Walt Disney World resorts. They've arranged for 7 practice courts and playing games at 3 different arenas during the quarantine. They will also be providing meals, daily coronavirus testing, and other medical support, security, transportation, and entertainment for the more than 1,500 people during the height of the event. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver saying it comes into play that we feel an obligation to our sport and to the industry to find a new normal. It doesn't come into play in terms of dollars and cents because, frankly, it's not all that economical for us to play on this campus. It's enormously expensive. Not included in this expense is the loss of revenue because teams won't be selling tickets. The league is projected to lose more than $1 billion in revenue because of the coronavirus. However, by playing 88 regular season games and 4 rounds of a playoffs, the league is sheltering itself from more extended losses. The players will retain more than $600 million in salaries that could have been lost if the season was canceled, and the NBA teams project hundreds of millions in potential loss of television revenue. From that standpoint, folks, that is the most ideal circumstance that they can create. Players away from their families, pulling it all off, costing them $150 million, saving from potentially being shut down completely this year. Colleges, too, in a lot of respects, especially smaller towns like Clemson, could pull this off, but they'd have to do it without students on campus. They'd have to do it with only athletes on campus. And one could argue that universities might actually be able to do this better than the NBA because of the distance between the student athletes on a regular basis. And simply keeping them isolated on campus, creating an environment where the food services that are rendered to them are solely done through, one avenue. Forget Trevor Lawrence going to buy low because he wants a Hot Pocket for dinner tonight. Everything would be provided. Like, you could figure it out. It'd cost you a fortune. The problem is then, if students aren't on campus, why am I going to take a course at Clemson that I can take at whatever technical university online if I got to be online anyway? So therein lies the rub for the universities. Oh, it's great. We're going to have college football and we can make some money there, but if we don't have students enrolled on campus, why are they paying us? I mean, this is a conundrum. This is an enigma wrapped in a riddle from the financial side, because colleges were not founded to be football factories. That was a byproduct of the on-campus experience for athletic students. But then it became a big business, and the two were squarely intertwined in 2020. And so from that standpoint, it is a terrible situation to be in, because the university cannot function without students on campus. And in the midst of an epidemic with a contagious virus, bringing students on campus destroys the football side of things. Keeping them apart destroys the academic side of things. Trust me, you don't want to be Jim Clements today. You don't want to be Dan Radakovich right now. Because the financial side of both of these two, we talked about health and economics. At Clemson, it is the economics of the athletic department and the economics of the university. And they're not necessarily one and the same, but the impact of one or the other on the opposite side is tremendous. They affect one another. It's not an ideal circumstance at all. There is no great answer. And they are running out of time. They do not have an infinite amount of time. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. And look at what it costs the NBA to pull off what they are pulling off. To just give you 3 months of basketball. $150 million to pull it off. I don't have the answers, folks. But I can tell you this. The movers and the shakers are going to have to move and shake some decisions sooner than you would like them to. Because I don't think you could just run this thing up against the wall and then pull the plug on it. I think you're going to have decisions made so that you can start working on contingency plans before it's too late as well.
A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon. Temperatures slightly cooler, still in the 90s though, and a few afternoon showers will round out our Wednesday. For ABC Columbia, Channel 25, I'm Tyler Ryan.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Iron Man. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
More than 8,000 children in South Carolina need a caring adult to serve as their voice in family court. The time guardian ad litem volunteers spend investing in these children can change their lives forever. To volunteer, you must be 21 years old, able to pass a background check, and passionate about serving children. Become a guardian ad litem volunteer today and make a difference for tomorrow. For more information on how you can help, visit scgal.org. That's scgal.org.
Whether you're hitting the lake or heading to the pool,
We have a pool and a pond. A pond would be good for you.
take us along. And happy 4th from Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan, the website clemsonsportstalk.com. Oh, I saw a great discussion today. We brought up Cam Newton and the New England Patriots earlier this week. One of the things I didn't venture into is the fact that Cam Newton is a guy who, while I did say when he's challenged or when he feels dismissed, he's prone to rise up. He's prone to feel a certain way, maybe even play a certain way. Well, get this. This is great. Think about Bill Belichick for just a few minutes. His demeanor, how he handles himself. He's not somebody that's like overly reactive and celebrating. He doesn't like that kind of stuff. He doesn't typically allow that kind of thing to go on. Cam Newton's a guy, he picks up a first down, he'll dab on you. He'll let you know what happened. And Cam Newton is like Ric Flair. Woo! I mean, he's going to let you know what just happened. He's going to let you know. Bill Belichick is, I guess, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. I'll stay with the Four Horsemen. He's more like James J. Dillon. He's more just laid back, just not gonna get too emotional. Might say a couple of things, but that's gonna really be it. Not gonna be too much. And they just had Tom Brady, who was kind of that same guy. Now, Tom Brady, I think a little bit like Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor Lawrence is a guy that has been so good for so long that he doesn't have to ramp his game up necessarily to play well. But when you do get in his grill, or if you pick off Trevor Lawrence, like if you get an interception on Lawrence and you return it and you start chirping to him, he's the kind of guy that on the next possession, if he's got a chance to beat you one-on-one with a deep ball over the top or a little slant, when that happens, he's going to find you and remind you. Amari Rodgers can be sprinting to the end zone, and Lawrence is looking for that dude that was talking trash when he made the pick to let him know, I got you. That's a little bit about what you got from a Tom Brady. Cam Newton's completely different. Cam Newton, he doesn't care if you just came off the bench and he picked up the first down on you. Dab. Spin the football. Let him know a little first down. How is that going to be handled? How is that going to go across or come across or be accepted in New England? Because there are two sides of this. I saw two radio guys arguing about it. The one guy's like, look, that can't happen. If Tom Brady couldn't do it, if Gronk couldn't do it, we're gonna let Cam Newton come up here. He's going all Boston on you. You gonna let him come up here and do that stuff? Not Pac. That's not happening. So it's like, it's this great conundrum of this flashy, sort of villainous guy in some respects, like the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Some people love to hate him. It's just kind of the way it is with Cam Newton. It's a lot of flash versus just a grumpy old guy coaching the team who doesn't like that kind of stuff. How does this relationship work out? It'll be a unique question to see take place. Another aspect of Cam to the New England Patriots. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. I did see this as well during the break. Our buddy Matt Dowell over at Watch Fox 57, because I saw that Governor McMaster was talking about, sporting events. And so I retweeted this just a few minutes ago. But one thing that he said was that if we keep going this way, we will not be able to have college and high school football. He was like, we won't be able to go to concerts. He says the fall won't be like every fall at this rate, and urges everyone to follow the health guidelines. But one of the other things, too, that somebody brought up, I thought it was Matt. Let me see if Matt's got this in his Twitter feed. Was the fact that McMaster said that spectator sports aren't allowed under the current executive order. And that anybody that does hold a sporting event, with, I guess, fans in the stands, is subject to, I guess, some consequences. Fines, I'm assuming, is what he means by that. But one question I have is, when you say spectator sports aren't allowed, does that count if there aren't spectators? So, theoretically, I know we talked about digital tickets yesterday. I know we talked about all this stuff with you. But theoretically, spectator sports are those sports where people are in attendance? Like, is football a spectator sport if nobody's there? Is this sort of if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Is it a spectator sport if nobody's there? Or does the definition of spectator sport extend to a sport like football no matter what? People spectating on TV, that's a spectator sport. I don't have the answer. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the answer. But if indeed that is the case and you hear those comments, it certainly raises the question of whether or not you believe football's in peril or not. But perhaps right now, under the current, I don't know if you want to call it guidelines or the current, whatever you call the things that the government has over the top of us. Let me see if I can get the terminology real quick. The executive order that we're currently under, would football not be allowed at all anyway right now in South Carolina? I don't have the honest answer. I don't know what defines a spectator sport. But if it is a sport like football, if that counts with nobody in attendance, then right now we wouldn't have football anyway.
The Ron Burgundy Podcast is your chance to listen to the most distinguished newscaster of all time. Try to fit the facts of the day into his head.
When did this happen?
You will listen to him laugh. You will listen to him cry. You will listen to him do this.
We either have to get out of here or we have to eat someone.
All 3 seasons of the Ron Burgundy Podcast are available to binge now. Find the Ron Burgundy Podcast on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Kevin Hunter with Simplified Office Systems. We're here to help you with your home office. Whether you need a large multifunction device or something simple to sit on your desk, we can help with that. We offer products and strategies from HP. We also, with every product, give you remote support, troubleshooting, setup support, whatever you need, we are here to help. We can even put a Clemson logo on that new copy. Contact us by visiting mysimplifiedoffice.com or call us at 888-914-7476. Stay safe, stay strong.
Celebrate freedom at Casey'sFireworks.com. Go online to see pre-packed shows or, all new this year, choose a color-only, noiseless show for pets and special needs. Get 80% off artillery while they last or half-price pre-packs with extra free fireworks inside. See store for details. Casey's Fireworks celebrating 70 years of wow. Only on Rosewood Drive. Open all year for coupons and money-saving shows. Go to Casey'sFireworks.com.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic
fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
The cost of living keeps going up. You need to save money. You need Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy saves you up to 25 cents on every gallon of gas purchased. Download the app or visit gasbuddy.com and start saving. Gas Buddy. Fuel better.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. Not on my watch, they say, as they leave their families behind to keep the rest of ours safe. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve, the therapists they need to walk again, the treatment they need to talk again, the lifetime of day-to-day help they need to live full and independent lives. When there's no more government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option, or everyone says there's no hope for recovery, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeart Radio app. And on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart Radio station.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Final segment on a Wednesday. Lawton Swan, the show that shakes the Southland. Some notes I should give you today from the governor's conversation. Today, they actually, while the number of positive cases was 1,497, the single day high in deaths in our state took place today with 24 new deaths from COVID-19. And we also currently have the highest number of reported hospitalizations since the pandemic began. So that's where we are, July the 1st, first day in the second half of the calendar year here in the state of South Carolina. It's hard to believe we're in July. I mean, honestly, that's the thing that I've really taken away from this is even in the midst of just unparalleled lack of social interactions for a lot of people, the year is flying by. I mean, I just can't, I can't even think about how long ago March was. And you know, I was talking to my buddy yesterday about this. And again, we've been talking about the factors of getting back to college football or, you know, whether all are in play. I mean, we're talking about students on campus. We talked about tailgating. I mean, those are aspects of this whole ordeal that I mean, probably aren't going to take place this year especially to the degree that we're accustomed to. Businesses, the effects of that, locally, nationally, across the board. I mean, it's a huge, huge issue still. And I don't know if we had a false sense of security or if we just didn't pay enough attention to what the guidelines were to open back up. But the reason I projected no college football this fall over the weekend, we've gone backwards. We've gone backwards. We're so much further behind where we were, even with what we might classify as very low death rates per person, per capita for this virus in terms of the percentage of the people who, have it or have gotten it, etc. The uncertainty of this virus and the long-term ramifications continue to hold us hostage. And whether or not, I said earlier, if you thought me to be the most positive person possible, I just have to look at everything else going on in the world and the things shutting down, or at least in America, and go, what would make college football be different outside of you telling me, well, because it's college football. It's college football, Swanee. It's Garth Brooks. We can't shut down a Garth Brooks concert. I don't know if they have or haven't. I'm just saying. I mean, the only qualifier that we have is, you can't, Swanee. It's college football. That's your qualifying statement. You just can't because it's college football. No, they can. And you might not have a choice. And I might not have a choice. I don't have to like it. And again, I don't know if at this point, honest to goodness, folks, I can't promise you that we got enough time to fix it by September. That ought to scare you. If the numbers you're not worried about the numbers, fine. What ought to scare you is I don't think we got time to fix it by September. It's a frustrating place to be. Because collectively we have not done enough. And it's disappointing. Disappointing. And you're beginning to hear it from more and more people. And the recognition of what's happening to college football in our midst is also beginning to be recognized by more and more people. And if you are, someone that has followed this sport your entire life, like I have and like so many of you have, I mean, we've seen Major League Baseball strikes and shortened NBA seasons and NFL. I don't recall ever having to think about college football not taking place. This shouldn't be something that we have to talk about. But it's become the biggest headline, perhaps, in the history of the sport. And while we can point to the rosters and the forthcoming games and interview the insiders at these other schools, the reality is the biggest news in college football and college sports is that there might not be that sport this fall. I don't like it. You don't like it. The factors to get to a season, what's it going to take? When is the point of no return in order to kick off the season? That is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Sooner than you would like. Believe me. Incredibly 2 hours in the books. Thank you to Chris Landry for being a part of the program. Again, make sure you share this post if you're watching it on Facebook. Don't forget about our giveaway we've got going on over there on Facebook as well. Until tomorrow, as always, y'all take care now, And go Tigers!
On Columbia's home for sports, Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Collision and all lanes are blocked. 26 westbound at US 21, the 115-mile marker near Casey. Again, all lanes are blocked. Traffic westbound is getting by using the